So here's a little convergence. 2021 was the last federal election. 2021 was the last time the Montreal Canadiens made it into the Stanley Cup playoffs. And those two institutions here in Montreal are converging in the most interesting of ways. I want to show you what I'm talking about here in cartoon form. If we could just bring those up, I'd appreciate it. The duality captured in the Gazette by the great editorial cartoonist Terry Mosher. Aislin, it's not a visit to Montreal for a broadcast without a visit with Terry. Thanks for coming by. Isn't that amazing? So we don't know if there's going to be a Montreal Canadiens victory celebration yet. We don't know if there's going to be a political victory celebration or for whom yet until April 28th. But the two are coming together, and they even affected the schedule last night. It's incredible. You were watching last night?
I watched. Yeah, it was fascinating. But I got to give you a cartoonist secret here.
Okay.
I know other cartoonists do the same thing. We watch the debates with the sound off.
Why?
Because we're looking for mannerisms. We're looking for tics. We're looking how they use their hands. You know, Carney's very guarded and close like this, whereas the leader of the Bloc Québécois is almost Pope-like.
Expansive, expressive.
And so on.
He is.
And actually, I thought somebody gave Poilievre a Valium or something. It was so, but still he got in that pointing down, pumping, that sort of thing.
So these are the things that you watch because they are captured in the cartoons that you eventually create. And speaking of hockey, because not only do they converge in the cartoons that we just showed there, but show me what you have here, because Terry, we'll show you some that Terry's already published, but which is the first one that we want to look at? Oh, that's not the one.
This is
the one. Okay, you got them in the order.
I do a lot of photo tunes now,
right,
where I play with stuff. And so I had done the four of them, but they're all trying to woo. There we go. They're all trying to woo Montreal or Quebecers wearing Canadian symbols. You know,
how big fans they are.
Yeah.
That's right. That's incredible. So,
and if somebody had done that, they probably would have gone up 10 points in the polls if they'd had the courage to do it.
To do that, so
really, I think so. Yeah.
I'm wondering. You've been drawing many decades now. You've seen a lot of campaigns.
Close to 60 years.
60 years. I didn't want to.
No, it's all right. I'm proud of my geography. And it's my 18th federal election.
And we were talking on the phone prior to your joining me here, and it's different. You haven't seen an election like this in years. How so?
I haven't seen an election like this since the free trade election of 1988, which was phenomenal. And again, involving America so much. It was something, but this is for, I think of my grandchildren now, 5 of them, and I would listen very carefully when they were talking about housing. My grandchildren are oldest now. They're trying to make a go of it.
Make their way.
So I did listen to that because it was personal. But other segments I checked. I loved the moderator.
Oh,
he was conducting the whole thing with his glasses, like
we were talking about the format and how it really led to really substantive discussions on key issues. I know you did. But the overall theme has been, and this is what has been unique, I think, that maybe you could speak to. And I'm going to bring up one of the cartoons, which I know has done very well for you, the beaver. Yeah. The whole notion of Canadian symbols and how even in Quebec, can you speak to this a little bit? The unity that we have seen, how it's Canadian interests superseding maybe Quebec interests because of an American threat.
Fascinating. We're coming together, and I highly approve. I think most of us do. I wasn't sure if it was a one-day wonder at the beginning, and then people would go back to watching Netflix or something. But no, it's holding, and they're all speaking more or less about Canada being independent. That's being addressed very thoroughly. And I'm very excited about that because that means I'll have to keep working for another 10 years.
Well, that sounds good. Well,
the business of becoming more independent, very, very exciting. And I've already done quite a few cartoons on that subject.
I want to see how you have captured the 4 leaders. So let's run through some of them, well, all 4 of them, as a matter of fact. Mark Carney. We heard from Karina Roman, our reporter, that he is someone who likes to read a lot and he does his homework. And you've actually captured that, Terry.
Well, when we first started out, his French was a little shaky. There's no question about it. So I've got a reading Larousse, which is sort of the Bible of the French language. Homework for Mark. He's gotten a lot better, by the way. He was very cool last night. He was good, quite good.
Gestion de l'offre and everything, even supply management in French, it was all in there.
Exactly.
Pierre Poilievre, this one, you've used a couple of cartoons for Mr. Poilievre. This one, though, talks about maybe his electoral fortune, spinning his wheels a little bit, Terry. Can we bring that up? What did you see here?
Well, it was winter when everything was being called, and he was way up in the polls. And it reminded me of spinning your wheels, because suddenly it stopped and you began to go down. So that's the cartoon of somebody. Who is that spinning their wheels in the snow? Poilievre. And he's continued to spin a little bit. He's fighting very hard, but he's spinning.
Talked to a polls analyst about all of that in just a few minutes too, Jagmeet Singh. It's a long way away from the orange wave of 2011, which you would have captured then with Jack Layton in official opposition. Here's how Terry has captured Jagmeet Singh in the NDP.
Where's that?
I think just there it is.
There it is, yeah. Poor guy down a manhole, because right at the beginning, everybody, all the commentators, all the talking heads were saying, oh, he's dead in the water. He did pretty well last night in French. Even had humor in French, which is very hard for Anglos to do. But at the time, we comment on the moment. Mm-hmm. And I might do a critical cartoon of a fellow on one day, and 3 days later I do a congratulatory cartoon, because it depends on public mood, but also my perception of how things are going. Nobody's perfect. So that was just summed up the mood of the time.
One NDP MP in Quebec right now, and some discussion about whether that will hold or what will happen nationally too. So you may be foretelling something to come.
Well, he's a good man, and I approve of minorities. It makes for great cartoons, but also makes for a good country. Good things get done in minorities when they have to get support.
One more, because there's, of course, one more leader on that debate stage. And let's show how Terry has captured Yves-François Blanchet, who is right now losing support in the polls. Yeah. But he's making a pitch to Quebecers to vote for him to be the balance of power. Yeah. At one point, he wanted to be official opposition, now balance of power. And now...
But this cartoon is actually, it's in French, but the Gazette does that a lot now, is him saying basically our main reason to be... in Ottawa is to protect Quebec's interests and our fat pensions. And there's a real element of truth to that.
Listen, just before I let you go, thank you so much. It's been always so interesting to see campaigns through the eyes. Hold up the one, the little bit, just to show to camera, the one that we can get a sneak peek of, Terry, because
yes,
because we haven't even published this. This is going to go online. This is breaking news, breaking...
I got back to reality here.
It's all about the hockey,
standings, and the little thing of them actually making it into the playoffs, and a crazy fan pointing it out.
Facing the Capitals, first time since 2021 in the playoffs. Thank you for visiting.
Nice
great to see you.
Heather.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
On CBC Morning Live, look for Terry's cartoons online, or if you can, in the Gazette.